Today, I wanted to talk about crafting your dream life and vision in every way that is perfect for you. There were so many things that I loved to do, choreograph dances, and I had fun in each and every one of those things. Um, but at some point, I lost all of that passion when I started going after becoming a famous music artist. If money didn't matter, if you had unlimited amounts of money and you didn't have to think about what made money, what would you do every day? And what I've realized is when you start from what do I love?
Let me tell you that I've had this dream since I was 13, watching MTV.
What's up, beautiful people? Welcome, welcome to the first episode of Dreams Not Deferred. I had started an Instagram page with this title because I felt like I wanted to talk about, you know, basically creating and living your dreams, which I'm extremely passionate about. Obviously, if you followed me for any length of time, you see that I'm all about finding your passions, multiple things in life that just bring you joy and following your heart no matter what. Whether that becomes a full-time career or not doesn't matter. I call myself a serial creative entrepreneur, but it doesn't have to be, a career thing. It could just be that you're following dreams and passions in life, like cooking for fun that just bring you joy. I'm all about that, and I want everyone to really follow their heart in every way they possibly can because this life is too short not to. And also, individuality and freedom are two huge points for me that I love to share with others and continue to improve those things for myself. And so I hope that you are every day finding more ways to be yourself, to feel free to express yourself and not care what other people think and just live your best life. You know what I'm saying? So I talk a lot about just how to stay inspired and creative, and that's what we're here for. Today, I wanted to talk about crafting your dream life and vision in every way that is perfect for you rather than trying to do it in a way that someone else said you should, that everyone else is doing it, which, if you have been doing that, that's what I've done my whole life. It's not that you're trying to conform or anything like that. It's just that it's obvious if you see someone that's successful doing something that you'd like to do, you're gonna model yourself or your strategy after them. That's totally normal and logical. But you want to find your own path and your own way of doing things that really suit you because none of us have the same lifestyle situation, set of circumstances. We're all different. So why would we try to follow what other people are doing? Take pieces of other people's journey, strategy, the way that they're living their life, and the parts that work for you, adopt them. The parts that don't worry about them, right? I think so many of us are always trying to be like someone else, and that doesn't get you very far. You know, at some point you're going to lose passion and interest in things because you're just focused on the mechanism, right? Going through the motions. So, anyhow, um, I'll give you a perfect example of how I've started to shift this, and maybe you can relate. I thought my whole life that I wanted to be Beyonce. That was my dream from 13 until I'd say 27. I'm 32 now, so getting up there. That was my whole life. That's all I wanted. Total tunnel vision. I was so passionate about music. I was so passionate about dance, singing and dancing in my bedroom, in front of the mirror, getting it. I joined a pop girl group right out of high school and did so much with them. We performed probably over 70 shows in LA and San Diego, all across California, and did my solo thing for a while. I did all the things I was supposed to do, and I had this dream, and the dream wasn't incorrect or wrong. It's not that I wasn't meant to have it or I failed, but it transformed over time. And I think I got really stuck in that one track mind of I see somebody like Beyonce and she's literally getting paid and having luxury in life to sing and dance. Like, what's better than that? That sounds amazing. I was so focused on like her lifestyle, the celebrity lifestyle, and the way that they were living life and the way that they got there, a record deal, becoming famous. I got obsessed with, what everyone else was doing and how they were doing it to the point where it blocked out the unique, interesting, really amazing ways that my life could unfold in a way that, suited me best. So holding on so tightly to this specific dream, it's like every year it started to get worse and worse. Like I started to get almost more depressed that it wasn't happening. It wasn't happening. I was trying so hard. And I failed to see that there was so much more about my life that I enjoyed besides just singing and dancing, right? When I was a kid, I was so creative. There was a program called Dreamweaver back in the day. If you're my age or older, you probably remember this program where you could literally make your own books online or on this app. You could like type out the story and then there was clip art and like audio and it was actually pretty advanced for the time, but you could make your own like visual books. And I had a blast doing that. I learned how to do editing, audio editing, video editing at a young age. And I wish I would have kept with it because I would have been an incredible editor by now. And I'm like totally mediocre right now because I haven't kept up with it. But, anyways, I had fun creating these stories. I would write poems. I would write short stories. I would create these little videos. I would do funny songs. I would draw. I actually it's funny now, I could barely draw a stick figure, but when I was a kid, I actually was a pretty good artist. I could just look at something and kind of sight, what is it called? In music, it's sight reading. I don't know what you would call it in art. Is it freehanding? I don't know. I would look at a picture and I'd be able to copy it, not trace it, but look at it and draw it perfectly and then add my own flair to it. So, anyways, enough about me. It's just the point of there were so many things that I loved to do, choreograph dances, and I had fun in each and every one of those things. Um, but at some point, I lost all of that passion when I started going after becoming a famous music artist, right? I lost all of that passion of just enjoying creating and the freedom around just, I feel like doing this right now. I feel like doing this right now. Obviously, if you want to make something into a career, you have to have some consistency, right? So you can't literally just wake up and be like, I feel like writing a story today, and neglect everything that if you said you were going to turn in an art project in 3 days or edit someone's photos, you just, yeah, forget that. I'll do that later. You do have to have some professional business standards of practice. So I'm not saying, that you could just wake up and be like, I'm going to do whatever I want all day long. Yes, structure is important. But if you're like me, you get so obsessed with the structure that the freedom goes away. So, anyways, um, over the last few years, I've realized that what I really desired, I'm not going to go deep into this because it's a whole nother story for another day. You've probably already heard it, but I realized that I didn't actually want to be a famous music artist. I wanted to make music that felt good to me, be paid very well, do exciting, fun things. At the time that was performing for me, now I have zero interest in being on stage. I still enjoy it. It's not like if someone invited me to perform, I would say no if it sounded fun, but I don't really get much joy out of performing live on stage so much anymore. Um, but yeah, that was once my life, and now I've realized over the last couple years that I just really enjoy creating. And over this past year, I've started to transform that even more and realize that, I ask myself this, and I hope you can ask yourself this if you're in a creative entrepreneur situation. If money didn't matter, if you had unlimited amounts of money and you didn't have to think about what made money, what would you do every day? Right? And maybe you're like, oh, I would just sit on the beach. Okay, sure. But eventually you would get bored of just sitting on the beach all day. You'd want to do something. Maybe it is painting, maybe it is writing, maybe it is gardening, cooking, whatever. What would you do with the majority of your days? What would you really, really enjoy doing if you didn't have to worry about money, right? And what I've realized is when you start from what do I love in every aspect of your life? What do I enjoy? Then look at how can it make money if you need it to make money. Or the alternative is saying, how can I set up my life so that I can work a 9 to 5, maybe find one that's flexible that lets me have weekends off or that lets me work from home so that I have a lot of time and space for my passions. How can I work from home so I could travel all over the world and do these creative things? It's just about looking at how you can set up your life in a way that allows freedom of fun, right? So I started to ask myself, what do you really love to do? Stop thinking about the way everyone else is doing it. Well, if I started YouTube series and channels so many times. Start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. Why? Not because I don't have consistency, because I'm really consistent at working out. I'm really consistent at getting my vocal orders and songs done for my clients. I'm never late. I'm always on time with projects. Like I'm one of the most reliable people. So it's not that. It's not a personal problem. What I believe it is, and maybe you can relate to this, is not really having a clear passion, but focused more on what can get a lot of views? What am I good at that maybe will make me money or that will attract a lot of people rather than what is fun? What could I do for hours? What could I do that I just enjoy? Right? So start there. Start with what's fun. For me, that is, I love to obviously write music. I love to write songs, but I also love to do voice acting. I love to do these little dub videos where I dub over anime. Like it's almost like a cover song, but for animation, especially character work. So I love acting. I do love music. But I don't love, and it's important to review the things that you aren't enjoying. Maybe you can't quit them right now. There are things I'm doing that I cannot quit this year immediately because I need the money. It just is what it is. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, but evaluate the things that you're really not enjoying. Maybe you try starting a photography practice and you start doing weddings and then, and the money's great, but after a year you're like, I hate doing this. I really don't want to do this. I really got into photography because I wanted to do super creative photography out in the wilderness. I don't know. And you're not doing that so much. Um, Obviously, you got to do what you got to do for now to make the money. I get that. I'm in the same position. But at some point, start evaluating what you're not enjoying anymore, too, and be okay with as soon as you can let those things go. Let them go. Let them go so that you can focus more on the things that you really, really love and that bring you joy. And then you'll figure out how to, if you need to make money with that thing, make money, or how to work it into your schedule with your job or with your kids or responsibilities. Focus on the joy and the passion first and then figure it out. That's always, I say always like I've been doing this my whole life. That's what I've discovered recently. And what feels like a duh moment, but yeah, it brings you so much more joy. I felt such a lack of energy and just overwhelm over the past year or two where I just feel like, I'm doing things because I have to. I lost a lot of passion for writing my own songs because I'm so creatively burnt out, always writing songs for other people. It takes a toll on you after a while. I know it sounds kind of silly or a little dramatic, but it's true after a while of creating on demand for other people. You kind of get burnt out and you don't really have any drive to do your own stuff. So that's part of it for me. This discovery of get back to the basics, get back to what you did, maybe what you did as a kid. Did you really love drawing cartoons as a kid? But now you're like, well, I got to do this, this, and that because I got to make money or because I don't have time. Well, get back to the drawing cartoons in any capacity that feels good to you and then figure out a path from there, right? And realize that, again, you don't have to make it a full-time creative career, right? I've realized my deepest passion in life, like I said, is to create anything that feels good to me and have a variety of creative entrepreneur. I have the entrepreneur bug spirit. That's another passion of mine is business. So those two things, creativity and business. I call myself a serial creative entrepreneur, right? I just want to do these things that are fun, and I'll figure out how to make a little bit of money doing all of them or a lot of money doing all of them, and, be able to have that be my lifestyle. Flexibility is important to me, but the whole point of my rambling now is find a way to craft your perfect life, what feels good to you, in a way that works for you. Study other people who have done what you're doing. Look at their strategies. If their strategy makes sense for you, take it, adopt it, use it. The parts that don't work for you or aren't really necessary, leave them, right? And don't worry about what anybody else thinks. I know it's obvious, but don't focus on it needing to look like anyone else's. It needing to be the way anyone else's journey is. Do it in a way that feels good to you. And that's how you build a dream life. I'm still learning that, and so I'm not there yet, but I feel excited about opening up new possibilities by letting go of my life needing to fit into a structure or be like anyone else's. So, anyhow, dreams not deferred, first actual episode. Next time I'm going to be interviewing a friend of mine who just started their voice acting journey. Super excited for that. So stay tuned, my friends. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.